7 promises from God you need to claim every morning, straight from Scripture. Some mornings feel heavier than others. The alarm sounds and your eyes open, not to peace or excitement, but to pressure. Before your feet even touch the floor, the weight of the day creeps in. Unanswered emails, family tensions, financial stress, that nagging voice in your mind whispering that you're already behind. Maybe you scroll your phone hoping for something light to distract you, but instead it's more noise, more comparison, more reasons to feel anxious, inadequate, or alone. But right here, in the quiet moments before the world rushes in, something sacred waits. There's a stillness where heaven leans low, not with demands or deadlines, but with promises. Not vague encouragements, but words spoken by the living God. Unshakable, eternal, meant for you, and meant for mornings like this. Because God knows the kind of day you're about to walk into. He sees the meetings you're dreading, the ache you've buried, the prayers you've whispered into the dark. And still, before anything begins, He's already spoken something over you. Something better than fear, something stronger than weariness. Something worth claiming before your first breath out of bed. We don't often talk like this at the start of the day. We might offer up a hurried prayer, mumble a verse we halfway remember. But what if we did more than just speak to God? What if we started declaring what He has already promised us, loudly, boldly, with the kind of faith that shapes a whole day, maybe even a whole life? You see, the enemy of your soul isn't just afraid of your strength or your schedule. He's afraid of your memory, of you remembering who you are and what has already been spoken over you. Because when you remember God's promises, the lies lose their grip. The pressure doesn't vanish, but it bows. The confusion doesn't always clear, but it no longer controls. So before we dive into the noise of the day, let's return to the voice that quiets every storm. 7 promises, straight from the Word. Anchors you can grip before your feet ever hit the floor. Not because you're perfect, but because He is. Not because you've earned it, but because He's already said it. And when God says it, you can stand on it. Let's be honest. Some mornings you wake up already feeling like you're running on empty. You didn't sleep well, your to-do list looks impossible, and there's a weight pressing on your chest that doesn't even have a name. Maybe it's yesterday's guilt. Maybe it's tomorrow's fear. Maybe it's just life wearing you thin. You stare at the ceiling and wonder how you're going to get through the day when you barely feel like getting out of bed. That's where grace walks in. Not the kind of grace that floats around as a churchy word, but the gritty, raw kind. The kind Paul clung to when everything in his life said he should have quit. You remember the story. He had what he called a thorn in the flesh. We don't know exactly what it was, but we know he begged God 3 times to take it away. And what did God say? Not I'll fix it, not I'll remove it. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." That's not the answer most of us want. We want relief, escape, a fix. But God offers something deeper, sufficiency. Every morning, when you feel like your strength won't cut it, that's the exact moment you're positioned to experience His. Because grace doesn't show up when you're strong. It shows up when you admit you're not. And grace isn't just for salvation. It's for Monday mornings when you're overwhelmed, for Wednesday afternoons when you hit a wall, for those moments you lose your temper, your patience, your confidence. Grace is not a one-time gift. It's a daily supply. God doesn't ask you to be enough. He asks you to come empty and trust that He is. His grace is not portioned by your performance. It's not doled out based on how many chapters you read or how well you prayed last night. It flows from who He is, not who you are. And that's the freedom of this promise. When you wake up tired, weak, or unsure, you're not disqualified. You're invited. So start your day with this declaration. God, your grace is sufficient for me, not my energy, not my wisdom, not my perfection. Your grace, it's enough for this day, for this hour, for this moment. I will walk into today not with the pressure to prove myself, but with the peace that comes from knowing I don't have to. When you live like that, your weakness stops being a limitation and starts becoming the place where His power shows up most clearly. And that, friend, is more than enough. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't care if you're surrounded by people. It can sneak up on you in a crowded room. It can live quietly inside a marriage, inside a house full of noise and routine. It doesn't always shout. It just whispers. No one really sees you. No one really stays. Maybe you know that voice. Maybe you've learned to carry yourself like everything's fine, because life has taught you that people leave, that circumstances change, that even the best intentions don't always last. And so, morning after morning, you brace yourself to face the day alone, even if you'd never say it out loud. But there's a promise written into Scripture that silences that whisper with something eternal. It's not just encouraging, it's unshakable. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's not a metaphor. That's not poetic language. That's God speaking directly to the heart that fears abandonment. This promise was first given to people standing at the edge of battle, facing a future full of uncertainty, and it echoes through time to you today, wherever you are, however your life looks. It doesn't depend on your faithfulness. It doesn't change with your circumstances. God isn't holding your hand with one foot out the door. He's not with you today only to disappear tomorrow if you mess things up. He stays. That's what sets God apart from everyone else. He sees every broken piece of you, your doubts, your shame, your mess, and He doesn't flinch. He doesn't back away. In fact, the messier it gets, the closer He leans in. When others walk out, He draws near. When you can't feel Him, He hasn't moved. And this matters especially in the morning, because it's in those early hours, when your thoughts are loudest, when the day stretches out long ahead of you, that the enemy loves to whisper, "You're on your own." But that's a lie. And the truth is, the same God who carried you yesterday is already standing in today, not watching from a distance, not cheering you on from the sidelines, walking with you, step by step, breath by breath. So start your morning here. God, thank you that I don't face this day alone. No matter what meetings I have, what challenges I meet, what news I hear, you are here. You haven't left, you won't leave. You don't love me for what I can do, you stay because you chose me. Let that truth settle into the places in your soul that still brace for rejection. Let it calm the inner storm that wonders if you're worth sticking around for. Because the one who formed you, the one who redeemed you, the one who knows every thought and wound and weakness, has promised, I will never leave you, never forsake you. That's not just comfort. That's covenant. And it holds stronger than any fear. Some mornings you wake up and wonder if any of this is going anywhere. You think about where you thought you'd be by now. You measure your life against expectations. Some you made for yourself, others made for you. And the more you compare, the more behind you feel. You might not say it out loud, but deep down there's a question lingering. Is there still a purpose in all this? Or did I miss it already? That's when this promise matters most. It's one of the most quoted verses in the Bible, sometimes even printed on graduation cards or coffee mugs, but it's often misunderstood. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. It sounds beautiful, inspiring. But do you know where God's people were when He said that? They were in exile, banished from home, living in a foreign land. Their world had fallen apart. They were grieving, confused, and longing for rescue. And God didn't say, hold on, I'm coming to get you tomorrow. He told them to settle in, build houses, plant gardens, raise families, and trust that even in the waiting, His plan was still unfolding. That changes everything, doesn't it? God doesn't promise us a life without hardship. He promises us a future beyond it. He doesn't always give us clarity in the moment, but He gives us the assurance that what we're walking through isn't random and it isn't wasted. His plans for us aren't derailed by delays, detours, or disappointments. They're deeper than success, stronger than failure, bigger than our ability to figure it all out. You might not see the full picture yet. You might not even see the next step clearly, but God sees the whole path, every twist and turn. And His plan? It's not to harm you. It's not to trap you in regret. It's not to leave you wandering forever. It's to grow you, shape you, and bring you into something better than you imagined. In His time, not yours. So here's a truth to start your day with. God, I don't have to understand everything today. I don't have to control it, fix it, or rush it. I just have to trust that you're still writing the story, that your plans for me are still good, that even in the slow seasons and the silent places, you are at work. And that's the kind of trust that can walk through anything. Because when you know the author is good, you don't have to fear the next chapter. Even if you're in a season that looks nothing like you expected, remember this: the promise still stands. Your life is not off course. Your future is not forgotten. And your God is not done. He has plans, real ones. Right now, today, even in this. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope, and a future that's more than worth the wait. There are mornings when you wake up already bracing for battle. Not a physical one, but the kind you fight in your mind, in your heart. The email you've been dreading to open. The person you'll have to face again. The decision that keeps looping through your thoughts, making sleep a distant memory. You walk into the day already exhausted by what hasn't even happened yet. Because when you carry pressure to fix everything, protect everything, and get everything right, it's more than a burden. It's a battle you feel like you're losing before it begins. But then there's this voice, quiet, firm, unshaken. It cuts through the noise and says something radical. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. It's not passive. It's not an excuse to avoid responsibility. It's a holy invitation to surrender the battles that were never yours to carry alone in the first place. When Moses stood in front of the Red Sea, with a terrified, complaining people behind him and an advancing Egyptian army threatening to crush them, it looked hopeless. Chaos on one side, death on the other. And just when panic could have taken over, God told him to do the most unnatural thing: be still. Stillness doesn't mean silence. It means confidence. It's standing still not because you're frozen, but because you trust the one who moves when you can't. It's choosing not to run ahead, not to react in fear, not to lash out in control, but to root yourself in the truth that God is already working on your behalf. You don't have to fight for your worth. You don't have to fight to be seen. You don't have to scramble, prove, or strive your way into peace. The Lord sees you. The Lord defends you. The Lord goes before you and behind you. And in the middle of the storm, when the noise is deafening and the way forward looks impossible, He fights for you. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is to stop talking, stop spinning, stop obsessing, and just stand. Stand and trust that even when you don't see it, God is cutting paths through seas that look uncrossable, that He's moving hearts you can't reach, that He's building outcomes you couldn't design in your wildest plans. So this morning, don't rush into the day with clenched fists and shallow breaths. Begin with a declaration. God, I lay down the battles I can't win on my own. I let go of what I can't control. I trust that you are already fighting for me, my peace, my future, my family, my purpose. I will be still, not because I'm giving up, but because I know you never do. You don't need to know how the sea will part. You just need to know the God who parts it. And when He fights, nothing stands in the way. Some mornings feel like stepping into a storm. The kind of storm that isn't made of rain or thunder, but thoughts, deadlines, conversations replaying in your head, the news, the ache in your chest you can't name. You pour the coffee, glance at your phone, scroll through headlines or messages, and feel your heart rate rise before the sun is even up. We live in a world that sells peace like a product. If you work enough, succeed enough, meditate just right, unplug at the right time, then maybe, just maybe, you'll feel calm for a little while. But the world's peace always comes with terms and conditions. It's fragile, circumstantial, easily broken, and often temporary. That's why Jesus said what He said so clearly. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Let that settle for a moment. His peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of a person. It's the kind of calm that sits in hospital rooms, walks into high-stress meetings, stands in grief, waits in uncertainty. It doesn't mean the chaos around you disappears, but it means it no longer controls you. The disciples heard these words from Jesus not during a time of comfort, but when everything around them was about to change. He was preparing them for the cross, for persecution, for confusion, for loss. And in the middle of that, he promised peace. Not by removing the hardship, but by entering into it with them. His peace is steady, deeper than logic, stronger than fear. It's the peace that held Jesus when he prayed in the garden, facing betrayal. It's the peace that kept Paul and Silas singing in prison. It's the peace that allowed martyrs to forgive and missionaries to stay. And it's the same peace offered to you every morning. So don't wait for the world to quiet down before you claim it. Don't tie your peace to how smoothly things go today. Anchor it in who holds the day. Say it out loud. Jesus, you are my peace. Not this schedule, not this paycheck, not this relationship, not this outcome. I receive your peace, not as a concept, but as a covering. I don't need the world to be perfect today. I just need you to be near, and you already are. When that becomes your morning rhythm, things begin to shift. The chaos doesn't go away, but your spirit isn't shaken by it. You become the kind of person who carries calm into anxious spaces, who breathes slow when the world speeds up, who lives like peace isn't a prize you earn, but a promise you live from, because it is. Some mornings, before you even look in the mirror, the labels try to find you. You're already hearing them in your head. Failure, too late, not enough, forgotten, broken, fake. You scroll through someone else's highlight reel and wonder if you'll ever measure up. Or you replay yesterday's mistake, last week's silence, that thing you wish you could undo. And the shame just sits with you like a shadow. But then God speaks. Not in generalities, not to the crowd, but to you. And this is what he says. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Think about that. The God who crafted galaxies, the one who painted every sunrise and knows the ocean's depth, speaks your name. Not the name the world gave you. Not the one shaped by past wounds or present insecurities, but the one he wrote down in love before you ever drew breath. He doesn't call you by your mistake. He doesn't call you by your weakness. He calls you his, and not just once, not just when you were doing well, but every day, including this one. There's something powerful about being known that intimately. It shatters the lie that you are just one more face in the crowd, just another voice in the noise. This world will try to define you by what you do, how you look, who you know, or how much you earn. But God defines you by one thing: belonging. You belong to him, and when you start your day from that place, from identity instead of insecurity, everything changes. You're not hustling for worth. You're not desperate for validation. You're walking into your day already named, already claimed, already loved. That means even when people don't see you, God does. When you feel unseen, overlooked, misunderstood, he doesn't just notice you, he delights in you. Your name isn't just a sound, it's a declaration. It's a reminder that no matter what this day throws at you, you are not your job title, your bank balance, your relationship status, or your regrets. You are a child of the Most High God. So wake up with this truth on your lips. God, you know me. You see every part of me, and you still choose me. You call me by name. I don't need to earn your love or fight for attention. I belong to you, and that is enough. Today, I will live from that place, not to prove who I am, but to remember whose I am. And when you live like that, the noise of the world loses its grip. You're no longer defined by what shifts around you, because your identity is rooted in the one who never changes. You are his, chosen, named, loved, still. Now always. There are mornings when it feels like too much has already been lost. Too many broken pieces, too many missed chances, too many days you wish you could rewind or redo. Maybe you carry regrets that visit you in quiet moments, choices you wish you hadn't made, words you wish you'd said, time you wish you hadn't wasted. Or maybe it's not regret, it's grief. A version of your life that didn't turn out the way you hoped. A door that closed and never reopened. And you wonder, is it too late? Then God speaks, gently but unmistakably. Behold, I am making all things new, not some things, not just the good parts, not just the easy ones, all things. This is not a promise about polishing what already looks perfect. It's about redeeming what was ruined, restoring what was wrecked, breathing life into the places that feel dead. It's about a God who doesn't just forgive you, he rebuilds you, who doesn't just repair the past, he rewrites your future. The book of Revelation, where this promise is found, wasn't written during a peaceful time. It was written to people facing persecution, darkness, uncertainty. And yet, right in the middle of the chaos, God doesn't promise an escape, he promises renewal. He doesn't ignore the pain, he transforms it. He doesn't erase the story, he resurrects it. This promise is for you, right now. This very morning, it means that no matter how yesterday ended, angry, bitter, exhausted, numb, you're waking up into new mercies. Not recycled, not leftovers, new, fresh. Tailor-made for this exact moment in your life. God's renewal isn't just something he's preparing for heaven. It begins now, in your healing, in your parenting, in your relationships, in the quiet, hidden corners of your heart. So no matter what your life looks like today, whether you're rebuilding from loss, recovering from mistakes, or just trying to hold it together, hear this clearly. You are not stuck. Your story isn't finished. God is still creating, still shaping, still doing something beautiful where you thought nothing good could grow. Speak it out as your day begins. God, I trust that you are making all things new, even when I don't see it yet. Take the broken parts of me, the forgotten dreams, the quiet disappointments, and breathe your purpose into them. Today is not just another day, it's another chance. I receive it as a gift. And I will walk forward believing you are still at work in me. Because our God doesn't patch holes. He builds new roads. He doesn't just fix, he transforms. And no matter how far you've drifted, no matter how much time feels lost, he is not done. The story isn't over. He is making all things new, including you, including today. So here we are. 7 promises. Not distant ideas or abstract encouragements, but living, breathing truths straight from the heart of God. Promises that were spoken long before you faced your first worry. Promises that remain long after the world tries to name you, shake you, rush you, or break you. Every morning you have a choice. You can wake up and let the day shape you, or you can wake up and let his word anchor you. You can reach for your phone, scroll through other people's lives, or run through your to-do list in a panic. Or you can pause, breathe, remember, and declare what's already been spoken over you. His grace is enough. He will never leave you. His plans are still unfolding. He is fighting for you. His peace is deeper than the storm. You are his, named, chosen, loved, and he is making all things new. This isn't just about getting inspired for 5 minutes. It's about learning to live different, to begin your day with truth instead of fear, with promise instead of pressure, with faith instead of frantic striving. There will still be hard days. You'll still face confusion, resistance, heartache. But when you wake up claiming what God has already promised, you're not walking into the day empty. You're walking in with armor, with direction, with a name and a purpose and a covering that no one can take away. Let these promises be your rhythm. Write them down. Whisper them as you make coffee. Declare them in the mirror. Let them speak louder than anxiety. Let them carry you through unknowns. And when the world feels unstable, let them remind you, God is not. You don't need to create peace. You don't need to manufacture purpose. You just need to remember what's already yours and walk in it, one morning at a time. So tomorrow when the alarm sounds, don't just wake up. Rise up. Speak life. Speak truth. Speak His word, and step into the day already held by a God who never breaks His promises.